conversation elicited a wide sort of variety of reactions,
Right. Yeah,
one
sure.
of which was the predictable stick to sports, shut up and dribble. What is your reaction to that?
It makes me laugh in the beginning.
It was unanimous among our owners that we stand united being against any form of discrimination.
We are more than just athletes.
Trump would make a crack at Clinton, and you could hear the fans, the stands, ooh.
Examples of what is going on in our country that we need to kind of change.
Their voice carries more than just dribbling a basketball.
Sentiments of this kind are contrary to the principles of inclusion and respect.
Because we cannot ignore the realities of the current state of America.
And we all are trying to do what we can. We're using our platforms, using our opportunities.
Like, oh, no, he didn't. Yo. Like, yeah, he did. Yeah, this is a presidential election. It's not the Jerry Springer show.
That form the foundation of our diverse, multicultural, and multi-ethnic league.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a little bit different from my usual videos, and that's because the NBA went and pissed me off. Ever since I've been watching the NBA, they have claimed to be about more than basketball. ESPN routinely talks about social issues and even politics. Players, organizations, and even the league itself has not strayed away from having a stance on any number of issues going on, and good for them. There's nothing wrong with that. But there is something wrong with that if you claim to be about more than profits and then you're exposed as a complete fraud, which is exactly what has happened to the NBA over the past couple of weeks. What are you talking about, Joe? Where is this coming from? The NBA cares. It's a whole campaign. It's called the NBA cares. Well, meet Daryl Morey, a guy who cost the NBA billions of dollars by sending out this tweet. And if you're confused about why a pro-Hong Kong tweet could cost the NBA any money at all, here's a brief overview of the situation. Hong Kong has been protesting China for a very long time now, since March. And it's because China is breaking their international contract with Hong Kong. So naturally, Hong Kong feels like their freedoms are being taken away by what is effectively a foreign government. So Morey, like millions of other people around the world who enjoy their freedom, sympathized with Hong Kong and tweeted his support. The only thing wrong with that is that China is like that short, fat, bald boss of yours who can't take any criticism, only a million times worse. So when China got news of this tweet, which is odd considering Twitter is banned in China, they freaked out and immediately banned the NBA. I should at least mention that Daryl Morey is the GM for the Houston Rockets, so naturally the Chinese government can't do business with an organization who employs somebody who supports Hong Kong. Now, this was the NBA's opportunity to be consistent. They could have taken a firm stance and supported Daryl Morey and his right to freedom of speech, which is sort of what Adam Silver did in his feeble statement that was kind of apologetic, kind of felt more like he had to put up with the freedom of speech rather than supporting it. But it kind of would have just been one of those things that leaves a little bit of a bad taste in your mouth, and then, you still can enjoy NBA games, you can still watch them, and everything's fine. But they didn't stop there. They issued a different statement to the Chinese, and this statement was much more apologetic. It stated how they were greatly disappointed with Daryl Morey's inappropriate speech. It was basically an apology on behalf of Morey, who, by the way, deleted his tweet and had to issue an apology of his own. That would have been enough for me to be done with the NBA, but it didn't stop there. And we'll see in just 1 second what being about more than basketball really means. But that initial response by the NBA was clearly bowing down to Winnie the Pooh, aka Xi Jinping, and the Communist Party. A Communist Party, by the way, who is actively engaged in some of the most inhumane things going on the planet. Concentration camps for hundreds of thousands of Muslims, for one. Which, guess who has basketball camps in the same province as those concentration camps? Yeah, it's the NBA. Surprising, I know.
Understand that what you could tweet or could say, and we all talk about this freedom of speech. Yes, we all do have freedom of speech, but at times there are ramifications for the negative that can happen when you're not thinking about others and you're only thinking about yourself. But Daryl Morey, but I believe he wasn't educated on the situation at hand, and he spoke.
Thank you, LeBron, for being so brave and for standing up for something. I mean, I hate to be a conspiracy theorist here, but I wonder if his opinion could be possibly influenced by his extremely lucrative shoe sales in China. Or perhaps if the NBA has to pull out, salary caps are going to decrease. Or if we're going to be real crazy, what if Space Jam 2 gets banned? See, this is an instance LeBron actually does stand a chance to lose something for standing up for what's right. But he's sold out. He's sold out to an authoritarian regime that is persecuting millions of people. Good for you, LeBron. I'm glad you are such a moral and ethical person.
You know, we love China. We love, playing there. I know for both of us individually, we go there, once or twice a year. They show us the most important love. So, we appreciate them as a fan base, and we love everything, they're about it.
Not come up in terms of people asking me about it, people discussing it. No. Nor has our record of human rights abuses come up either.
Now the league is being asked about China. They're being asked about China's human rights abuses, and they're dead silent. See, they were plenty happy in the past to act like they were brave and stand up for something, but they didn't stand to lose anything in the past. Now they stand to lose something, and they're keeping their mouths completely shut because they know China is watching. And if the CCP hears anything they don't like a single tweet from a GM, they could lose their precious Chinese market. So the NBA has chosen the CCP over freedom. And if that wasn't bad enough, there's been Hong Kong supporters going to these NBA preseason games because, they're upset about what the NBA is doing. And they've been holding signs, wearing shirts that say Free Hong Kong, but the NBA has kicked them out of the games and silenced them because, yet again, they're scared China is going to see that and then be done with them forever. And they're that scared of losing that market.
But what was the reasoning? What's the reason?
So
I understand you're doing your job, sir. Totally.
Just Capital One Arena. We understand. We respect your freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
We are just personally we don't have any stance on it, and so we're just asking no any signage related to that being in here tonight.
And so, and under what was the?
So I just explained it, and that's what it is.
Under the sign standard,
okay. And it's also outside of our side standard for the sign. So
okay.
Can I ask you guys? I'm gonna have to take this, or you can toss it out. Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, sir.
Needless to say, I am done with the NBA. And I really love the NBA. I was a big fan. But at this point, I would feel dirty and disgusting to continue watching. And they aren't the only company who is so hungry to get into the Chinese market, they're willing to do or say anything. Blizzard banned a Hong Kong kid from playing their game and took away $10,000 in tournament winnings because he said Free Hong Kong, revolution of our time. Nike removed all the Houston Rockets merchandise from their Chinese stores. Vans had a competition where fans could draw a shoe design and it would be voted on by fans. And the top ranked shoe was a Hong Kong protester inspired design. And they pulled it off of their site because they were scared it was going to offend the Chinese. And I've been wondering why our movies have sucked so bad for the past 5 years or so. But perhaps it's because we're censoring them and keeping the plots kind of brain dead so the CCP doesn't get offended and they won't ban the movie from going over there. And we know it's happened in a couple of instances. The new Top Gun, they removed a Taiwan flag from Tom Cruise's jacket. And in Avengers, there's a girl that was supposed to be Tibetan, but they changed it because they didn't want to offend China. Delta and American Airlines removed Taiwan as a country from their websites, which is just a slap in the face to Taiwan in order to appease the CCP. And if you were hoping that your technology companies were safe, they're not. They're bending the knee too. Apple had an app on their app store that protesters in Hong Kong were using to avoid police units so that they could protest without getting beat. And China didn't like it and told Apple to remove it off of their app store, and they did. But these are just a few examples of the companies that are being censored by China. It's time the world wakes up and stops letting China operate under a different set of rules than the rest of the world. There is hope though, guys. There is someone who is standing up to China, and that someone is South Park. If you haven't seen the new episode Banned in China, go watch it. It's hilarious, and it's free to stream online right now. The episode is actually really informative because it's not too far off from reality, but China got wind of it, And they retaliated by banning South Park in China, which was a huge surprise. Nobody saw this coming. So the extremely concerned creators of South Park issued this sincere apology to the CCP. You know, it's good to know not everybody's selling their soul to sell their products in China. That's it for this video, guys. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.